please tell me that you had nothing to do with this?
You're the one who's been committing all the mortal sins around here. Jason! I'll see you in class.
Welcome to US Recaps. In this video, we will explain Bad Sister. This film tells the story of a nun who has a crush on a boy and decides to set him up. Can he get out of the nun's trap? Let's find out in Bad Sister.
Bad Sister started with a young man named Jason Brady, who was playing guitar in his room. When school is off, Jason often records videos for his YouTube channel. After school holidays, Jason and his sister, Zoe, were escorted to a Catholic boarding school. They were greeted by the headmaster, Sister Rebecca. Meanwhile, elsewhere and still in the same boarding school location, another sister observed Jason and his family from the principal's office. The sister was named Sister Sophia. Shortly after, Sister Rebecca returned to her room and greeted Sister Sophia. Sister Rebecca reminds her that every nun must comply with the school's policies and regulations. One of these regulations is that a sister cannot use makeup while in school. Sister Rebecca immediately handed her a tissue and asked Sister Sophia to remove her makeup right away. After a short conversation, Sister Rebecca then took Sister Sophia around. While walking through the school grounds, they accidentally bumped into Jason. Sister Rebecca then introduced Jason to Sister Sophia. But unexpectedly, Sister Sophia was secretly charmed by Jason and fell in love with him. Sister Sophia became even more attracted to Jason after their first meeting. She often watches Jason's YouTube channel and is very impressed with his singing and playing guitar skills. Sister Sophia then sneaks into the school dormitory and listens to Jason sing while playing the guitar. She intended to make him her own. One day, while in class, a student named Sarah tried to approach Jason. Sarah is a beautiful and popular girl. Her father was a regular benefactor and had considerable influence on the Catholic Educational Foundation. Shortly after, Sister Sophia entered the classroom. She felt jealous seeing Sarah and Jason's closeness. She then reprimanded Sarah in a slightly intimidating tone. After that incident, Jason and Sarah were back chatting in the schoolyard. At that time, Sarah told Jason about Sister Sophia's annoying attitude. Jason didn't say anything. But just as Sarah and Jason were about to kiss, Sister Sophia suddenly came up to them with an angry expression. She then told Jason to come into the classroom and warned Sarah to stay away from him. Long story short, Sister Sophia asked Jason to come to her room when school was over. At first, Jason refused because a boy was not allowed to visit a girl's room, especially a nun's room. After school, Jason immediately went to Sister Sophia's room. He saw that the door to her room was slightly open, and when he looked inside, he was struck by the sight of Sister Sophia. At that time, she had taken off her nun's clothes and was wearing only bright red underwear. It turned out that Sister Sophia did this on purpose and pretended not to notice Jason's presence. Jason then hurriedly left for fear that Sister Sophia would catch him peeking. That night when he was about to sleep, Jason could still imagine the sexy Sister Sophia. He even went so far as to imagine himself making out with her and being immersed in incomparable worldly pleasures. One night, Sister Sophia sneaks into the girls' dormitory when everyone is asleep. She walked down the dark corridor, then stopped in front of Sarah and Zoe's room. They were both sleeping when Sister Sophia sneaked into their room and planned something. Sister Sophia then took Sarah's book and quietly slipped a bunch of cigarettes into it. She intended to trap Sarah to get her out of the school. Unexpectedly, Sister Rebecca caught her. Sister Sophia argued that she only wanted to check the security of the girls' dormitory. Sister Rebecca didn't ask any further and immediately left. The next day, while in class, Sister Sophia asked the students to open their textbooks. When Sarah opened the book, she found a roll of cigarettes. Suddenly, the incident caught the attention of Sister Sophia and her classmates. Sarah was then led to the principal's office. She could only cry and did not admit that the cigarette was hers. But the school still punished her according to the rules. She was suspended and had to leave school for some time. After Sarah's violation, Sister Sophia influenced Sister Rebecca and other teachers to inspect the boys' dormitory. Sister Rebecca agreed. The principal and the teachers then searched all the rooms in the boys' dormitory. While searching Jason's room, a teacher finds a bottle of liquor there. Even though Jason had sworn that the alcohol wasn't his, he was still punished. Sister Sophia showed her defense for Jason. She begged Sister Rebecca to forgive Jason's actions and not report this incident to his parents. Sister Rebecca finally forgave Jason, but he is not allowed to come home for the weekend. One day, Sister Sophia approached Jason and helped him mow the grass and fertilize the school grounds. The two of them chatted casually. Sister Sophia then unbuttoned her shirt as she leaned closer to Jason. Suddenly, Jason's gaze fell on something dense and stuffy under Sister Sophia's shirt. But Sister Sophia did not feel uncomfortable. She even looked happy because she managed to seduce Jason. That night, Sister Scifi sneaked into the boys' dormitory, heading for Jason's room. Jason was already asleep when Sister Scifi entered his room and secretly recorded the situation with her cell phone. Sensing someone in his room, Jason woke up and was very surprised to find Sister Scifi. Sister Scifi then approached Jason and persuaded him to have sex. Jason refused because it was a sin. But Sister Scifi ignored Jason's refusal. She instead took off her clothes. Jason was finally tempted, and they copulated as if the world belonged to the two of them. The next morning, Jason sat pensively in his bed, lamenting the great sin he had committed with Sister Scifi. After school, he then intends to confess all his actions. However, Jason was surprised to find out that the person who heard his confession was not the priest but Sister Scifi. She then entered the confessional and sat on his lap while fondling him passionately. Scifi doesn't even care if she is sinning in a church. Jason, who had finished his sentence, was finally able to return home for the weekend. The Bradys are enjoying dinner when Jason's father reprimands his son, punished for his poor grades. But Jason made his father even angrier by revealing his desire to achieve his dream of becoming a singer. The father-son argument eventually led Jason to finish his dinner and head to a bar to calm himself. Returning from the bar, Jason was stopped by a police officer who asked for his ID. Jason could not show his identity card, but then Sister Scifi suddenly came and begged the policeman not to arrest Jason and say that he was her student. The police finally handed Jason over to Sister Scifi. Sister Scifi then took Jason to a hotel. She took off her nun clothes and changed into a red dress as she listened to Jason talk about his fight with his father. After listening to his story, Scifi then asked him to go with her abroad. Scifi then reveals her true identity to Jason. Scifi wasn't a nun. She is a wealthy woman who deliberately seeks out the young men in a Catholic school disguised as a nun. She said that she fell in love with Jason at first sight. Scifi even confidently revealed that she could be Jason's inspiration in making songs and working in the music world until he became a famous musician one day. But Jason realized that there was something odd about Scifi and refused her. Jason then told Scifi not to come near him again and left. Scifi felt very angry and frustrated at the rejection from Jason. She then vented her anger by shouting while throwing things in front of him. The next day, Jason returned to his dorm room and found Scifi unconscious on his bed. A panicked Jason thought that Scifi ended her life by overdosing on drugs because there were a lot of drugs splattered on the table. While he was checking Scifi's condition, Scifi suddenly woke up. It turned out that it was a prank to get his attention and sympathy. Jason, who could no longer deal with Scifi's play, threatened to report her actions to the priest and principal. But Scifi replied that she too would expose their forbidden scandal to everyone. Jason could only stay silent because he didn't want his father and everyone to know about his depraved actions at school. Moments later, while Scifi was teaching the class, Sister Rebecca suddenly came and stopped the lesson. The principal told Sarah to go to class and attend classes as usual because her sentence was over. Jason and Sarah's relationship was close again. They were often seen alone and affectionately, which ignited a fire of jealousy and anger in Scifi. Scifi then came up with a plan to get rid of Sarah. In the evening, Scifi re-enters the girls' dormitory and finds Sarah in the shower. After ensuring no one would catch her, she immediately banged Sarah's head against the bathroom wall repeatedly until the girl died horribly. After that, she covered her tracks by disguising Sarah's death as an accident and returning to her room innocently. Not long after, Zoe was surprised when she found Sarah lying face down, covered in blood. She immediately called for help. Sarah's body was immediately taken to the hospital for an autopsy. The police and the rest of the dormitory think Sarah died from a fall in the bathroom. The dormitory residents gather at the church. Everyone looks sad except Scifi, who showed a happy expression even though it wasn't for long. When prayer time was over, Jason approached Scifi and accused her of being the mastermind behind Sarah's sudden death. Even though it was true, Scifi wasn't afraid. Chica looked angry and threatened Jason by showing a video recording of the two of them having sex. Scifi then threatens Jason if he dares to reveal all her actions. When the weekend came, Jason and Zoe were picked up by their parents. Scifi then devised a plan to approach Jason while he was with his family. She then asked Sister Rebecca for permission to attend her aunt's funeral. Jason and Zoe are having dinner at a restaurant with their parents. To their surprise, Sister Scifi suddenly appeared before them and met their parents. Mr. and Mrs. Brady greeted Scifi in a friendly manner. Even Jason's father invited Scifi to have dinner with them. Scifi then took the opportunity to tease Jason secretly by holding his thigh under the table. Suddenly Jason shuddered and was very nervous. Meanwhile, Sister Rebecca calls the hospital where Scifi's aunt is being treated. She intended to send a bouquet as a sign of condolences. But the hospital did not know the name of the patient mentioned by Sister Rebecca. She began to suspect that Sister Scifi lied to her. Back at the Bradys, Zoe urged Jason to tell him what had happened because he seemed nervous when Sister Scifi had dinner with them. Jason finally admitted that he had committed a grave sin with Sister Scifi. Long story short, Jason and Zoe are trying to find information about Sister Sophia's real identity. They sneakily broke into her room, then accessed her laptop. A fact was finally revealed that her real name is Laura Patterson. Laura purposely got rid of the real Sister Sophia to infiltrate Jason's school and approach him. On the other hand, Sister Rebecca called Laura to come to her office. Sister Rebecca then exposed all of Laura's lies and was about to report them to the priest. However, as Sister Rebecca headed for the door, Laura struck her head, which instantly caused Sister Rebecca to collapse and become unconscious. Jason and Zoe, who were about to report their discovery of Sister Sophia's true identity, went straight to Sister Rebecca's room. Because there was no answer when they knocked on the door, they finally left, not knowing that Sister Rebecca was unconscious and Laura was hiding there. Jason and Zoe ended up going to church and meet Laura. They said that they already knew her real identity and would report it to Sister Rebecca. Laura, who was mad because the situation was now on the brink, immediately knocked Zoe unconscious and attacked Jason with a vengeance. Unexpectedly, Sister Rebecca was not dead. She appeared behind Laura and pulled her away. But Laura quickly turned things around and attacked Sister Rebecca. Because Laura's attention was distracted, Jason took the opportunity by reaching into the screwdriver in his pocket. He immediately stabbed Laura with a screwdriver until the woman died. The film ends.